If you want to grow your own business, freelance, or build websites for other people, this video is going to provide you with a step-by-step guide on how you can begin to make ChatGPT your bestie in the simplest way possible. And by doing this, you will obtain the ability to travel and be your own boss. All right, welcome everyone to the very first episode of Soul and Systems, where we're going to help you create a world-class prompt engineer bot. And I had a friend write this amazing definition of what a prompt engineer bot even is, so that you could better understand how and why this is going to be really helpful for you, not only in your business, but in your everyday life, especially as AI becomes a part of everything that we do. You want to be able to communicate in its own language to get the best usage out of it. So a prompt engineering bot writes perfect prompts for me to put into ChatGPT. It helps to get better results, and it knows the same language as ChatGPT, making communication between us more efficient. And that's exactly what this prompt engineering bot is going to help you do. I'm going to help you understand this by showing you why better prompts equal better results. I'm going to build a simple no-code chatbot right in ChatGPT. And if you have no experience building chatbots, then this is probably where you want to start. The next thing we'll do is explore real examples for wellness, coaching, and business. And then we'll start using this tool in our daily lives to save time and get more clarity and get the most out of all of the AI systems that we're using to make our lives more efficient. So we've already gone over a brief definition of what a prompt engineer bot is. If you're unaware of what prompt engineering is, it's very similar to coding. So now that we're moving away from JavaScript and general coding languages, and we're moving into JSON, and we're moving into prompt engineering, you want to know how to write a really good prompt. So this chatbot will transform vague ideas. For example, if you want to create a meal plan for your client and you want to use AI doing this, you can let the prompt engineer bot know exactly what your intentions are in your everyday language, and it will turn it into clear, structured prompts. So you don't have to sit here and try to act as a prompt engineer, because I'm telling you, it's going to save you a lot of time. This works across any niche. So regardless of if you're in the wellness or the business or the content space, or even just for personal use, this bot can help you in so many areas. I've also created a very similar bot for a client who helps individuals with their content, turning their content into sales. And so that bot essentially takes the client's entire business, their branding, their pillars, their messaging, and it will generate amazing social media content ideas for them using the same logic. And then lastly, prompt engineering bots are built using simple AI automation tools. So you don't have to have any prior coding knowledge. You don't have to know how to code in JavaScript or JSON or anything like that. All you have to do is use this bot that I'm about to create, and it will turn all of this prompt engineering stuff into light work. So, why prompts matter? Because random prompts will give you random results. That's just the gist of it, right? Better prompts give you faster, higher quality outputs, and in turn, you create beautiful projects in less time than it would have taken for you to kind of think of everything on your own. Also, there is a such thing as hallucination when it comes to prompting, and a lot of people experience this where they're like, I've used ChatGPT and I put in a prompt and the answers it gave me were just really wrong. And it's most likely because of the prompt that you're using. It's not clear, it's not concise, and it's not speaking the same language as the language model. All AIs are language models. So if you understand the language that it speaks, then you can communicate with it more effectively. It's very similar to learning a language as a human. When we learn Spanish and we go up and we start speaking Portuguese, that person may only understand every other word that we're saying, right? So this is why better prompts equal faster, high quality outputs. And lastly, it'll help coaches and creators move from confusion to clarity. This is one of the biggest things that has been really helpful for me when I'm working with clients is they have an idea or a concept of what it is that they want to create. They just don't know how to put it all together. And so by using tools such as ChatGPT or other AI language models, we're able to essentially take all of their thoughts, put it into a very concise prompt. Or, well, first we'll take all their thoughts, we'll write it down, and then we'll ask Chat to put it into a concise prompt. And then now everything that the client was envisioning in their head has now been created. And it's all because we put it all together and we were able to speak the same language as the AI model that's helping us do the work. So some examples of how you can use this, and before we get into the actual build out, are wellness coaches. So you can use this for an onboarding email sequence. If you're a healer, you can use it to outline courses for stress relief. I have personally used this in my own community and online academy to help me build courses that are very structured, concise, and to the point where all I have to do is create the video and everything else is created down to the workbook that accompanies the course, etc. Entrepreneurs can use this to create content calendars in just 10 minutes. So, before we get into what's next, we will go into actually building out the bot. All you need to build this out is your ChatGPT account. You want to make sure that you have premium. If you don't, you might as well get it because you're going to need it on this journey. It's only $20 a month, but the way that I see it is that those $20 a month saves you hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars later down the line, and it also helps you increase your revenue by hundreds of thousands of dollars. So this $20 investment is so worth it. It's $20 now. In a couple months when you're probably watching this video, it may not be. So definitely get in while you can and get in while it's still accessible at this price, because I promise you, as more and more people begin to use it, that price, that initial investment will increase. So once you've created your ChatGPT account, on the left-hand side, you will have a sidebar. On the sidebar, you'll want to access GPTs, and it will take you to this screen here. And you'll access, you'll be able to access your GPTs once you've created them. But what we want to do for this video is we simply want to click create. So you have the option when you're creating a GPT bot to create it using a prompt, or you can tell GPT what you want. But I find the best thing to do is to open a separate thread in your ChatGPT account and explain to it what it is you're trying to do so that it can create this initial prompt for you. And instead of hitting create, we're going to go to configure. We're going to name our bot. So my friend wants to call this her ChatGPT Bestie. So my GPT Bestie. And then we're going to describe it. So my world-class prompt engineer. And guys, mind you, people are getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to work at companies just to do prompt engineering. So think about how much time, energy, and money you're saving by creating a bot who does it for you. A bot who already knows its language and it's going to tell you exactly how to speak to it. That's one thing. You can take that and run with it and come up with your own ideas. I have a few of my own, but we're going to start with this bot. So the description, you can get as descriptive as you want. I plan on sharing this bot with others, so I'll go back and add a little bit more in the description so that people know exactly what they're getting. And the instructions, this is where that previous thread that you created in your ChatGPT is going to come in handy, because what I did in preparation for this video is I had my thread create the exact prompt that I'm going to put into my prompting GPT. I'll give you guys a second there to understand what's happening. So basically I told Chat, I said, I want to build a bot that is going to build, or that is going to come up with prompts. You're a world-class prompt engineer. So give me a prompt to do that prompt. And this is what it came up with. And so what I'll do now is I'm going to copy and paste this prompt here. So we'll read through it just really quickly so you understand the levels that are required to create a well-structured prompt and why this is no easy task and why people are getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, multiple six figures, to do this for companies. So your world-class prompt engineer bot, your job is to take any idea, project, or goal from the user and turn it into a clear, structured, and optimized AI prompt. The rules are you must always clarify what the user wants before finalizing the prompt. If vague, ask 2 to 3 short follow-up questions. This one is so crucial because when you're using other AI builders like Lovable or N8N or anything where you're able to essentially input a prompt to build something, you want to be as efficient as possible because chances are you're paying credits for each prompt that you're using. So why not get the most out of that credit that you're paying for versus saying, hey, can you change the color of this logo for me? And you just wasted one credit, which in many different platforms can equate to $1 or 30 cents or whatever the case is, but they add up over time. So you want to be as efficient with each and every prompt that you give it. So this is really important. Format the final output as a ready-to-use prompt. They can copy and paste into ChatGPT or any language learning model. So this is where you can use Cloud, you can use Gemini, you can use Lovable, you can use N8N. Any language learning model will understand these prompts that it's given. Next, make the prompt detailed, actionable, and tailored to their use case. Wellness coaching, content creation, business systems, personal development, etc. You input your use case there and it will align with that. Use plain, simple language for beginners, but structured enough for experts. This is really important because, like I said, this bot is going to essentially take the place of a world-class prompt engineer, someone who is getting paid $800,000 right now at Google, at Amazon, at Apple to do exactly what we're about to do in this bot. Always add a role, voice, instruction at the start of the prompt. Act as a marketing strategist for wellness coaches, etc. I used this exact prompt when I was looking for a coach to help me write my book. I couldn't find anyone that I resonated with. And so what I did was I created a bot that was going to act as my world-class writing instructor slash coach. And their job was to help me write my book and get it into the hands of a publisher that aligns with my message. And it's been working great. I'm writing the book, y'all. I'll keep you updated on how that goes. But it's been really helpful for me because it gives me questions and ideas that I would have probably never thought about on my own. And the best part is I didn't have to pay, $6,000 a month for a coach to help me do it. Okay. And next, end with, if you need more context, ask me follow-up questions before answering. And I've also received an example of what the output prompt should look like. As you go through this journey of prompt engineering, you'll be able to recognize where you can add more information yourself, or you can train your bot to add more detailed information as you go along. But this basic prompt output is going to get you so far. Everything else you do is just going to be a bonus. All right, so now it's time for me to literally copy and paste this system prompt into my ChatGPT bot. All right, and then you can add conversation starters. These are simply things like, hey, I want to build a world-class prompt. And when you click on this, once the bot is live, if you click on this, all the GPT is going to do is say, okay, tell me about the prompt. Like, what do you want to do? So these are optional. You don't have to have conversation starters, but they're fun. Knowledge. This is where, when we get further into building specific bots for businesses, for clients, for your business, etc., you want to upload files that are going to act as the knowledge base for your chatbot to pull from. So for example, for my wellness business, I created a bot, and in that bot, my knowledge base is full of my brand voice. It's my brand vision. It's my ideal client. It has my tone, so it knows when it's creating newsletters for me, or if it's writing something like a caption. It's doing it in a way that I would write, not in a way that you know Sarah down the road would. Because I'm unique, and so I wanted to capture that and be able to create content that aligns and resonates with me and my audience versus just a generic caption, for example. So the knowledge base is really helpful when you want to get very specific and when you want the bot to pull on specific information in order to give you the best output. So this is new, recommended model, because ChatGPT is constantly reiterating and improving on previous models. They're always coming out with new ones. So we started with ChatGPT 3, then we went 3.5, then we went 4.0, 5 thinking. And so I find right now in this moment in time that ChatGPT 4.0 is the best model to use, because 5 and 5 thinking are still coming up with some issues because they're so new. And I would say that they're beyond beta, but there's still more issues than I would like. So I'm going to go with the 4.0 model. The 4.0 model. And this is important too when you're building automations, because it'll ask you which model of ChatGPT do you want to use. As of right now, I always go with ChatGPT 4.0 because I experience less issues. And then capabilities, you want it to be able to search the web. I don't think this is super important right now for this chat, but I always check it. You want it to be able to create images for you and to also create documents. So Canvas and images are good. And then code interpreter and data analysis, I like to keep this on because sometimes I do work with JSON, and so I want to keep that as an option. And then actions are something that we'll get into in later videos, because what actions are is going to give you the ability to have your bot communicate with other apps. So, for example, if I don't know what world you live in, but if you're someone who wants to receive a prompt every single day at a certain time to your phone, you can create a new action and say, hey, automatically generate a prompt for me at 8 a.m. every morning and send a text to my phone, or send me a Slack message or send me an email. And it will do that. But that's just a very basic use case. Think about bots that we'll build in the future where we want to maybe have someone build a content bot, right? And every morning we want to have an idea of a caption or the caption itself that we want to post on social media and have it sent to our assistant. And our assistant already has all of our photos. And so our assistant can create a beautiful Instagram post for us. And all it had to do was receive a prompt all it had to do was receive a message from our bot that was automated. So actions are automations, and we won't get too much into that in this video. But all that being said, our bot is now built. So I'm going to click create and I'm going to save. So now we're going to view our GPT and we're going to start prompting. We're going to start creating some world-class prompts. I need to change my name here. Anyway, all right. So as you can see, your bot has been created here. And on the left-hand side, whenever you log into your ChatGPT, it will have your GPTs on the side, and you can just pick whichever one and you can start a conversation with it. So let's do a sample. Let's do a test. So, hey, I want to build a world-class prompt. And mind you, you can do this without building a bot, but this bot is specifically for prompts. And so its entire job is to give you world-class prompts based on the world-class guidelines that we gave it. Okay, perfect. So the first thing that it's asking us for is what's the goal or outcome you want from this prompt? Who is or what is this prompt for? And do you want it to follow a specific style, tone, or format? Okay, so we are building a website for an art collective called the Healing Arts Collective. And mind you guys, you can totally use the dictate option. I find that a lot of my friends prefer this because it's literally like you're chatting with chat. I am typing it out for the sake of this video, and because I'm recording, but this is also an option too. We are building a website for an art collective called the Healing Arts Collective. Okay, guys, so let's read this prompt that I've created. I kind of went a little overboard, but the idea is that you want to do a brain dump of everything that you want included, that you're trying to accomplish, and then it'll structure it into a more concise prompt. So the more information you provide up front, the better your outcome will be. So, and you don't really have to worry about the language, you don't have to worry about the structure, you don't have to worry about it being grammatically correct or anything like that. Just get all your thoughts out there and then have it do what it does. So we are building a website for an art collective called the Healing Arts Collective. We will be using Lovable AI to build this website. More about the collective, and then I listed a ton of things about the collective that should be reflected back into the prompt. This site will essentially include all information about the Healing Arts Collective and answer any questions someone who is interested might have. We also want you to develop the ideal persona to incorporate in the website build. So here is your prompt using Lovable AI to build the website. I'll tailor the prompt to the platform, focusing on creating an emotionally resonant, informative, and high conversion website. Perfect. So I didn't even have to include all that. I'm also including a suggestion for the ideal brand persona to guide the tone and UX of the site. So here is the actual prompt. And so it's going to ask, would you like me to actually build out the website flow and copy using this prompt now? We're going to not do that right now because this is what Lovable AI does for us. So what we're going to do is just copy and paste this into Lovable. Or if you wanted to spruce it up a little bit more and use it as the basis of all things that you do for your website, which is actually what I'm going to do right now. And you want to get into the habit of doing this as well. I'm going to create a new chat. And I'm going to we're going to call this chat the Healing Arts Collective website builder. Okay. All right, so now I have two threads open, and I'm going to copy and paste first this into that chat because you'll see why I'm doing this in a second. I've shared the prompt with my ChatGPT thread that is going to basically be used as a sounding board to go back and forth with Lovable once we've inputted this initial prompt. So now I'm going to go to Lovable and I'm going to copy and paste, and I'm going to boom. So now we wait. Now we just wait for it to build our website, the first draft of the website. All right, so Lovable has responded and it says, I'll create a soulful, emotionally engaging website for the Healing Arts Collective that captures their mission of creative healing and community. This will be a warm, artistic site that guides visitors from curiosity to application. Design inspiration. Okay. Features I'll implement. Okay. And all of this is what Lovable has come up with on its own. Like, we didn't include any of this in the prompt. It's just because we were speaking its language, it knew where it needed to expand upon and where to go to get more information to make this happen. If we were just to say, build me a website for my Healing Arts Collective and not include the tone, the style, the task, or anything like that, it would simply just build a website that had no real functionality or intentionality behind it. Yes, so Lovable also is a great investment. So when you first create your account, I believe you get about 25 credits for free just to play around with it. You're going to get hooked, so you might as well go ahead and purchase the 50 credits per month. I started off with 25, then I went to 50, and like literally 2 weeks later, I upgraded to about 100 credits because I started building things for clients. And so now I actually have my clients paying for my credits. So I don't actually pay for anything. It's included in all of the projects that I do. I say, okay, part of this fee is going to be 100 credits for this project. And
Mm.
maybe I don't use all 100 of them. And so what happens is that they roll over into the next project, but I'm constantly stacking credits. I
Okay.
do think it renews every month, so I don't think the credits roll over
Oh.
month to month, but from client to client, they do for me. And so I get to use more of the credits for testing out projects
Mm.
like this. So I've created a beautiful, soulful website for the Healing Arts Collective that perfectly captures their mission of creative healing and community. The site features. Here are the site features. Oh, that sound. Gotta love it. Oh, okay, this is interesting.
It's like the vibe, but just
Yeah.
valid beings.
Yes, yes, yes. So this is a really good first
Wow.
start. I personally am not a fan of the fonts or the pictures, but all of that can easily be changed.
Wow.
And this is why we started this thread here, because now what I can do is I can go back to this thread and say, hey, okay, I really love everything about the site except for the font and the pictures. So I recommend having maybe like two monitors or having it side by side so you can literally type out what it is that you want to change. Okay, so I really love the site. However, I'd like to try a different font package. Um, and I would like to change the images to that of melanated queer individuals. I don't know if AI is gonna be there yet, but
We'll
we'll
see.
find out. Um, Healers, artists,
Women.
women, something along these lines.
Very ethereal.
These lines, very ethereal. I don't even know how to spell that.
There you go.
Okay. What other edits do we want to make initially to start? It's really hard to see the call to
Mm-hmm.
action buttons on the home page.
But when if they change the image, that will change. I guess that is important to note, but
Action buttons on the home page. Make sure
it's a call to
the
action.
image does not overpower the buttons. And guys, I'm talking in like plain language, how I would talk to a friend or to myself. But what's going to do is it's going to create now, now that I've already inputted this initial prompt, what it's going to do is continue to create lovable prompts for me to communicate with the lovable language model. All right. So our offerings, I like this, but I want to make them clickable so that people can actually learn more.
And this would just be one credit.
Yeah, so within ChatGPT, credits aren't really a thing because when you pay for the monthly subscription, you it's essentially unlimited.
Oh, this is ChatGPT. I thought this
This
was
is
still on
ChatGPT.
Lovable.
No, when I switch back over to Lovable, yes, it's
Then,
gonna count as a credit.
okay.
I like our offerings, but I want to make them clickable so that people can actually learn more about each offer. Okay. And guys, like you can go back and forth with your ChatGPT prompts and Lovable to create the most perfect website, the most functional website. Off rip, Lovable is not going to have everything be clickable. So the fact that this one does is really amazing. It's improving significantly. But you may discover that your first initial output of a website may require more edits to be done. And so you simply will just say, hey, I want to start my application, but when I click the button, it's not functional. Can you make this functional? So make start application button on homepage. Make all start application buttons on homepage clickable. Okay. Um, I love this. It has testimonials, join waiting list, contact us, join waiting list. So let's just start with that edit so that you can see what this prompt is going to look like. So all right, and it's going to provide a suggested prompt for Lovable. Make sure that you do get something where you can just simply copy and paste because it saves a lot of back and forth. So I'm just going to copy and paste this into Lovable. And you see here as well, I asked it to do multiple things in one prompt. I didn't just ask it to change the color or to change the pictures. I gave it several things to do. So now it's working smarter and not harder.
And that was 1 credit.
And that was 1 credit right there.
Lovely.
You just wait. And the great thing about Lovable too is that if it finds an error, because it's coding in real time for you, if it finds an error in the code, it'll just be like, hey, I found an error, let me fix it. And then it'll go on and fix it itself. And there are some other functionalities of Lovable, especially if you are creating a website or an app where people need to create an account. You'll have to connect Supabase, which is here. Supabase is basically its CRM that is going to store all data from all users and all customers, etc. So you'll connect that. I think with your Lovable account, you get about two. You get two for free, two Supabase accounts. I think that's all you really need. But if you're working with clients, again, that's something that you can build into the cost. All right. So it's still updating. It got the idea with the melanated people, but we're still working on some of the other aspects of making things readable, but it's still going. So we'll let it continue. All right, let's continue editing. This was a super, super basic example, but you get the idea of what is possible with me just starting on a, with me starting with just a ChatGPT bot. We got all the way through to building a whole website. Yes, and it's still editing, so we'll give it some time. If you're really curious, on 222, if you're really curious about what it's doing, you can show all of the edits that are being made, but if you don't really care, you don't have to. If you are someone who understands JSON, you can go into the coding mode and change things here. I don't recommend that, but you can if you're feeling called to it. But that's essentially what Lovable is making changes to as we prompt, so we don't actually have to know how to code in JSON. Perfect. So it says, I updated the website with modern fonts, blah, blah, blah. Updated the Healing Arts Collective website with modern, okay. Refine website design. So it did update the font. It did change the images, but it's still, giving me issues with the coloring here. Begin your journey. So it's going to take us to the application portal. So this is where you kind of just check and make sure that it made all the changes that you were requesting. Okay, the buttons are actually clickable, but now we'll have to indicate that we actually need to create an application portal. And these are just all learning things that you'll figure as you go along. But it's way better than coding a website from scratch. It's way better than having to know how to drag and drop in Wix and all that stuff. Like this just saved us probably about a week. Yeah. So, yeah, guys, let's go back to our notes. Right. So, what's next? I will share a link to my ChatGPT Bestie 4.0 in the description down below so you can try the bot out for your own project. Notice how much time and effort you've saved. Come back and leave a comment on what you built using your GPT Bestie and how much time it saved you. And then start refining prompts for your own business. Start thinking of use cases and areas where you can use your GPT Bestie to create the project of your dreams, or to create a system that you've been putting off for quite some time because you didn't know where to start, or using ChatGPT to hire someone that you need on your team desperately, right? There's so many use cases, and I want you to start to use these tools to begin to refine your business. And then lastly, share your experience with the community. There are some links down below as well that you can begin to utilize to help you in your business. and incorporate more AI tools to help you save time and to get back to doing the things that you love. Thank you guys so much. Until next time, I will see you soon.